Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
pack, and
Mouse.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truon. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing, while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need.
All right, hello, my friends. Welcome to the grad show. Oh, this is all... My screen grab is obviously wrong. Come on, buddy. Get it together. Let's see if that fixed it. There we go. Was I playing a little blitz? I was, dude. I'm not going to lie. Now, there's something else going wrong here. Oh, something's going wrong here. Why is it double, baby? It is double. So I make pop. Yes. Okay, now you might see this picture of this dude up there. People in my generation just knew this dude. We just knew this dude. And he is a legend, Alex Yermolinsky. If you ever watched old, it was like an ICC thing. And he would do these great lectures, and he would say, good time of day to you, my friend. And it was hilarious. A lot of my Russian accent comes from him. He's my model. I got a couple other guys kind of lurking in the background. In some ways, Alex is more American than most Americans, you know, just in terms of how he's lived his life and yada yada. Even this final act where he's like, I can't do American healthcare because it's too expensive. I'm going to leave and do medical tourism. I can imagine doing the exact same thing. I really can. So he's over there in Turkey. He needs some money. I'm putting this link into the chats, and I'll harp on it again and again. Well, I'll harp on it a little bit. just because people need to send this dude some money. 225 people have donated. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So, Sam, beloved bookkeeper, did great in our first tournament in a long time. 3.5 out of 5, tied for second in our section. Welcome to the dojo, my friends. Welcome to the dojo. That's great. Okay, so we have about 20 graduates today, and I think I can get done with it. We'll see. We'll see. I'll get rid of those little things. Those are my notifications. People following me or say, good job, bro, on whatever thing it was I did. Let's start at the bottom. We'll start with Squirrel Sack. Squirrel Sack did just a little bit of work, but then crushed it here. And Kraai, you need to get rid of some of your windows here. Get rid of some of these windows, buddy, before it all goes bad. This is Squirrel Sack. You can see not much has been done, but flying up in the ratings. And did a bunch of non-dojo work ages ago, and then hasn't, we don't know what's going on. Do we got clubs? Aus Deutschland. Okay. And then do we got games? No games. So Squirrel Sack, es ist an der Zeit. Ja? Wir müssen was tun. Wir müssen was tun. Squirrel Sack. All right. So we'll go back. Boom. Next up, we got Sticky Pawns. And Sticky Pawns says, adult chess learner hoping for serious improvement. Joined fairly recently, has been doing good work. And look at that parabolic. Is that a parabolic graph? These are some clubs. The no stress. I like it. And we got some games. We got loads of games from Sticky Pawns. And I just want to say, the dojo was founded on 3 pillars. Game analysis, that you have a structure, and there's a plus, minus, equal. So like I and the structure are in a way your plus, right? Giving you a structure, maybe saying some things to you where you can take some advice. Anyways, I don't want to talk about plus, minus, equal. I want to talk about game analysis. And that was the one where we were unsure. I was very unsure if people were actually going to do it. So when I see somebody like Sticky Pawns come along, just joined the dojo, and now he's getting it done, well, that's great. Oh, aggressive repertoire. That's great, Sam. That's really great. Okay, how come this isn't popping open? Here we go. This is Insane Bolt. Here's a time graph. Ooh, we're going to say that's a pretty good-looking time graph right there. Okay. That's what we want it to look like. Uh-oh. How come it's not showing? Kraai. Ooh, how come you not show? Boom. Oh, idiot face. Okay. There it is. I don't know why it wasn't showing. But that is the graph, and that is pretty much what it should look like. We are working hard to get a clock time rating. Our tech dude, how come nothing is working today? Oh, criminy. All right, here we go. That worked. I have to reset my window captures here or something. I like the word clock time. It distinguishes it from time, the dimension of time during the game, tempo. But it's a little bit Germanic to smush clock and time into one word. And Jack Stenglein, who has this amazing German last name, didn't appreciate it. He was like, dude, that's like calling it clock rating, So I don't know if we're going to end up calling it the clock time rating. I thought it was pretty cool. Maybe he wants a time usage rating. Okay, here we go. So, looking good so far, Sticky Pawns. You're doing great. Knight f6, yeah. I believe taking on d4 would have been better. And the problem with knight f6 is you're going to get whacked here with either of these moves. Will be pretty unpleasant for you. Now, what's hilarious is your opponent plays bishop c4, and it kind of suggests to me that your opponent's playing a little bit by rote. And it only took 17 seconds on that move. So good move, tempo. And now you're just up a lot of time. Let's take on d4, baby. Boom. Oh, we took on e4. Fine. Even better than my move. Fine. You say taking on d5 was still best move. It's a loose piece. I don't know. I'll just say I'm terrified with cd because of knight c6. I think there was a reason you played bishop d7. Yeah, there's a reason you played bishop d7. Good move. Now you can do all kinds of things now. And here you say you should have taken the pawn. Yeah, here you should take the pawn. But I like the fact that you're developing. You are moving pretty fast here. dc5, blunder. Now, let me just say, we say this every grad show, that the issue with graduating up to 1,000 is really just taking these free things. That's all it's about. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom. And now they got their pawn back, but you have this one, good move. And you play this one, which looks like a blunder because of your knight hanging. So maybe there's some very tricky thing to get your piece back after this. I kind of doubt it. But what I want to stress is, of course, you should play knight takes c5. All right, so snip, snop, queen b6, and you say, I believe that I can trap the queen. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Now, he castles long, and maybe you're messing with him, but how about just going back? Boop. I don't think you're trapping that queen, but doesn't look like it to me. Now it might be gone. So knight a4 happens, and you're going to win the queen. Now, one thing white, well, I think white isn't crispy. Now white still has a way out of this mess, and that is to play bishop c6. And he's in the ball game fully, right? Okay, so blunder, good move. And now we just have to finish him off. Knight b4. Not really sure what we're doing knight b4. Can we just say? Okay, yeah. Blunder. Good. Now, let's just say the obvious thing here. Your progress will be full of dudes like Insane Bolt who are just dropping stuff. Right? And you drop some stuff too. So that is the most important part of your game to work on. I want to commend you again for using your time well. Like if you had a clock time rating or dojo time usage rating, it would be pretty good. It would be much higher than your actual rating. Your opponent did reasonably well too. Okay, so well done. We'll mark that as reviewed. And we'll go on to Get Chess, dude, who is graduating just all the time. And Phoebe says a row is not showing in full. I don't know why, dude. I don't know why. Let's do this. What is going on? I'm just terrorized here. Oh, it's just killing me. See, I don't know why. I've struggled with this. I shouldn't have even responded. But all right, I think there we go. That looking okay? It's reasonable. Okay, so next up we have Get Chess, who, as I've said, is a power user and just flying up. Actually, I want to take that back. Yes, Get Chess has graduated a bunch, but I'm going to look at his profile. There's something about it that I kind of remember. Let's read what he says first. I thank the dojo for helping me to see through the vast amount of chess learning sources. This has helped me tremendously with not worrying about prioritizing the wrong area or what could be going that would make me more time efficient. In addition, I can narrow down what are my relative weaknesses and address those areas with some attention. I did not graduate as quickly as I probably could have, largely due to most of my games being non-rated against dojo members. So while I did the workload, I did not accurately reflect the overall performance since my elo was flat for several weeks. This may or not be worth adding some additional dojo work for when you are complete, but not graduation eligible, or I may be weird. Thank you to everyone. Now, I think what it was as I looked at his business, and he had done epic amounts of work. I think I'm gonna look at his profile. Thank you to everyone within the dojo I've worked with, and hope to work with more of you through the coming weeks and months. P.S. I have traveled to a few OTB tournaments, and while I usually get very high-rated opponents and lose, I do learn from them each game, and I finally won my first live game. Hopefully more to follow. Well, check out the link, dude. Yermo is not doing great. He's had a quadruple bypass surgery. There's infection risk, all this stuff. He's not in a good place, dude. So here it is. This is Get Chess. And as I remember, Get Chess, yeah, look at this, dude. Get Chess has been crushing it. You know, I joined basically this year and has been absolutely crushing it. Got some non-dojo stuff going on. Racing cars on racetracks across the country. Okay, here we go. Garage Heroes. Garage Heroes in training. Get Chess. There we go. Okay, so 504. Got a USCF. Look at that. Crushing it with the USCF. I assume that's maybe like one game or something, but that's still amazing. Got a very nice tactics rating despite this checkmate test killing it. Okay, here we go. Clubs. 50 plus. I'm in that club, buddy. Oh, he's in a lot of clubs, dude. A lot of clubs. And the famous heat map heroes as well. Now look at that. He's a heat map hero. I'm kind of interested. What's this non-dojo stuff he's doing? Chess instruction from Dan Heisman. Great. I saw actually he's in the mainline chess club, and I think that's where Dan Heisman does his business. So that's cool. That's great. Okay, good. Let's see if we got some games. Here we go. Get Chess 60-0. Great. First OTB. Lovely. Let's see if we got a clock. We do. So here we just got to say, very nice clock usage. Really from both players. Okay. That's well done. And let's get into it here. So far, GM level moves. H6, Bishop D7, weird. H6, super weird. And why don't we now win a coconut? That's a free coconut right there. Bishop C4. Let's take that coconut, baby. All right. Fine. Weird. I guess 95 is better. Yeah. But you're doing great. Boom. Okay. Good move. Weird. So one of the things that we want to say is your path to 1,000, right? Not hanging stuff, using the clock, which you're doing great so far, and just realizing that your opponents are not going to be developing their coconuts. Moves like H6 and A6, and you should expect to find body blows when they do this. Boom. Great move. Bishop G4, and now, what is that? He's moved a developed piece again. So now we should be looking to end it, right? We should be looking to end it, and the first move to think about here is knight D5. I think it's the end of the game. We're hitting everything, and he cannot take because your rookski is going to open up onto the crookski. Right? Oh, I see what he was saying. This is the row that's not showing up in full. All right, let's take care of that. I got some weird stuff going on with my setup, bros. Hey, bros. Got some weird stuff going on. There's like a board hidden behind there and stuff. Oh, my God. Oh, God. I gotta get rid of that one. I use this template for too many things, basically. This scene, as they call it in OBS streaming land. All right, so that should be about right. There we go. Come on, buddy. You can do it. You're okay. Now, just move this a little. Oh, stop. This one over. There we go, buddy. Great. So, knight d5 looks absolutely crushing. h3, you should think of it as a waste of time. Pawn moves are not developing moves. Good move. Could have done that last move. Now, get chess. I want to stress here that this game you should say to yourself, oh, this is very lightly annotated, and I could have done better here. Yeah, you could have done better. And here we need to think bishop b3. That knight looks dead. So queen d4 looks maybe winning. On f4, we have to deal with knight c4. Good. Bad. Bad. He's got knight f3. Bows, we got to do some annotations here. Get chess. It's time to do some annotations. Wait, did he say anything about the annotations? Yeah. All right. So we need more work here. Black should try to trade rooks. Good move. Rook e7. Good move. That's an interesting position. King d4. Okay, fine. King d4. There we go. Who knows what's happening? I don't know what's happening. I'll tell you that much. I don't know. All right. So we lost that one get chess, and I think annotating the game a little bit more completely is going to go a long way to not making those mistakes. All right, let's give this a marked as reviewed. And we'll continue. Now, Wilson, I remember. Oh, Wilson wrote me a novel, dude. Wilson, bud. Here we go. I finally decided to graduate and move on. I am basing this on my USCF rating, which probably won't be posted until middle May due to the processing cycles at USCF. However, I'm using my Elite Chess rating to graduate since I can do that now. I completed most of the tasks in the 700 to 800 dojo months ago, but couldn't get my chess comp score up where it should be. I like chess comp for most things, but I'm finding a lot of rice cookers when I play longer games. I still learn from those games, but it's aggravating to find people that don't blunder, seem to always find the right move at the right time, and make enough mistakes and inaccuracies to avoid the fair play algorithms. Some commentators have said that more than 50% of the players in the longer time format games cheat. I will call them rice cookers. As I can't prove that they are using unfair practices, I will let the matter rest here, as my dissatisfaction with this will probably put me down the same route of Kramnik or Kamsky. I did not play any serious chess for 54 years. Upon returning, I found the game very different than I played in the 60s and early 70s. So much good material now that trying to find the appropriate material for my mediocre level is very difficult. It seems the GMs write for GMs, the NMs are a bit better, but few really address the lesser skilled players. Dojo provides a well-structured learning environment. The dojo is not perfect yet. I would like to see more interaction between the members of the cohorts as an improvement. Probably, points ought to be given for classical games between the members of the same cohort. A minimum of games for this purpose should be established. Perhaps 10 games is a good start. I would also like to see some of the highest cohorts in the dojo provide mentoring for the lower cohorts. I totally agree with that. This would mean being mentor identification by the senseis to selected groups of lower cohort members. Totally, this is something we're working on. I think this is part of the glue that would make the dojo a great place to be. It is important that senseis pick the mentors, as many people are not suitable. The game requirements and the required analysis and annotation are outstanding. I certainly feel this is what Botvinnik was trying to do with the Soviet school. Looking at the games, seeing what was good and what failed, determining why, and proposing solutions are among the best things I think the dojo has. Using longer time controls certainly has helped. I was, and maybe still am, an intuitive player. I played way too fast and have been working on that. I have a long way to go yet. I really disliked the tests that are tasked for the cohort. As a professor emeritus of mechanical engineering who has given thousands of tests, I found these tests abhorrent. I think the senseis really need to rethink the testing strategy and methodology. Perhaps some external consultants may be needed for this purpose. I will not be taking the tests in their current form. I did like Murray Chandler's books. They are excellent. I would set up each exercise on a board and solve them before looking at the book solutions. Some were very difficult, but well worth the exercise. And I do this with every Polgar problem as well. Polgar book is a bit repetitive in places, but repetition is good. I've been using a random number generator to randomly select 5 previous puzzles to do in addition to the 5 new puzzles I solve each session. I also keep track of the puzzles I miss and always include at least one of those puzzles in my puzzle set to solve. So far, the books are great. Overall, the dojo is worth the time and membership fees. It has really made modern chess more accessible to me. I am improving faster than I would have without it. Well, great. That was a novel, but that's okay. And I appreciate a lot of things you're saying. Now, one thing I want to just have people understand about the dojo is arguably we have too many things going on. Because the thing is, the more we develop the site, the more ideas we get. And we are doing so many things, and especially right now, we have so many things on the table. We're trying to put out the newest version of the dojo by the 15th. Will it be exactly the 15th? I don't know. But there's so many things that are being done right now, perfected with the site, that I think a lot of people, when they complain and they notice something that could be improved, they're like, okay, well, why isn't it happening tomorrow? And I just want you to understand, like, we got to do one thing at a time. And so, for example, the mentoring thing, oh my gosh, we have this on our agenda for so long, and it's something that is hard. Yeah, and so we have a lot of ideas with that. The biggest thing, I think, is if we continue to make the round robin tournaments more accessible and the more people that play in them, the more easy it is to make those work. Same thing with mentoring. The more people we get in the dojo, the easier that is as well. But anyways, lots of projects we're going to get pushed out by the 15th. Then we're going to be working on the problem thing. That's on our agenda, and the mentoring thing. But that's definitely going to come after this first push that we have going on right now. Okay, so let's go Wilson. An old man. Now, one hilarious thing we can do is we can go to his USCF. Oh, he's got a new USCF. Because I thought, if he played ages ago, then the number would be even older than mine. He was talking about playing the 60s and 70s. Okay, so he's got like kind of ratings all over the place. He didn't do the tests, even though he complained so much about them. He did do really well in this Puzzle Rush 5-minute thing, though. Okay, so I want you to observe that Wilson, since last September, has been knocking it down, just knocking it down, playing a lot of games as well. So very impressive. And really looks like he will graduate soon again. So definitely inspiring for us old guys. There's a 50-plus club, great games. And he's playing his brother here? I don't know. Let's just take a click on this one. Boom. Olsen versus Wilson. All right. Do we got a time graph? Not really. Now what you can see though here is this, the red bar is the evaluation of what he thought the evaluation of the position was, right? Okay. So basic, he goes up and down. We're in for a game that goes back and forth, in other words. All right. So let's get into it. A little weird. People hang it. Now, this was controversial because black could play now bishop f2, king f2, knight g4. Excuse me, knight g4. Poor move. You go back. Good. And now, that was a big pawn you just won. Now we can hit him with a move like d4. e3, okay. Weird. You're determined to play the info, man. Oh, there we go. Yeah. You're doing great, of course. But the main reason you're doing great is because you won a pawn. Now here, we do not want to be giving away our pawn on a2 for free. No lo puedo. So the easiest solution here would be knight f3, guarding our pawn. Then we'll push this clown away. So castles, mistake. Don't get free stuff. Queen d7, mistake. a3. You're doing great now. Poor move. Now the knight's toast. Thank you very much. Oh, no, what happened? Oh, no. He says, I studied this for a while and could not figure out why my opponent was sacrificing the bishop. Oh, yeah. So we got tricked with knight c3. Obviously, we want to play king takes a2, and the game is over. Bishop f6, as you mentioned, also fine. That was a dirty trick. All right, and you say I am actually only down a piece, right? So you got you got a pawn, and now you got two bishops for the queen. Weird. Okay, I like bishop f3 better. Okay, I like bishop f3 still. I didn't like this trade. Now your light square's a little weak. Not sure what you're doing there either. Good. I like b5 doesn't help him. Giving you a pawn. Thank you very much. Now, hold on. You're definitely not clearly better here. Okay? He gave you a pawn for free, but, you still he's got a queen. He's got a queen. Good move from your opponent. Frisky. I think you should probably play king a1 or something like that. You write king c1. That would be better. Now we've got to be toast. He's trying to work you over. Okay. c1. I don't know what he's doing. Bishop b2. I'm not sure. I would play h5, h6 here. Good move. Ooh, that's frisky. Boom. Now again, I don't know if you're winning. After his next move, you're definitely winning. Let's see if you found it. Bam! Thank you very much. Welcome to the dojo. Yep. That ain't it. That ain't it, son. With a mate in 8. Well, white wins. And let's just say some obvious things. Be great if we could get the times in here. Identifying the moves where you were hanging stuff is going to be the most important thing for you to make the progress, right? That's for the next couple graduates until we get past a little bit past 1,000. That's going to really be the case too. Notice both people hanging stuff in this game. Okay, well done. Let's move on. Oh, Afiko. Afiko has been with the dojo a long time, and she, I believe, is in France, working very hard. Let's see what she says. Hey, everybody. Very happy to graduate again. It was an interesting couple of months. I barely studied or played chess for 4 weeks straight and lost 50 to 60 points in 2 to 3 days as I started playing it without studying first. After a couple of weeks of studying again, results picked up almost instantly. A good reminder to put in the work and trust the process. Brilliant. So here we go. Lots of tactics. Beautiful heat map. Beautiful heat map over here. Yeah, great. And look at this, just a crushing graph here. Crushing, beautiful graph. The tactics is lagging behind. She did poorly in our tests. We're going to revitalize our tests. And I guess these numbers are commensurate with where she's at. So this is looking great. And let's go see. French club, as I remembered correctly, and games. Well, let's look at this one here. Bang. Clock. We'll take a look. Boom. One of the things I really love to see is we are playing somebody, and maybe they're a genius, but we use our time, and they do not. That's what I want to see. You're going to play a lot of these people that don't use their time. Okay, so here we go. Fine. Weird, right? So with knight c3, you write, this is a bad move that I keep making. After knight e4 and a recapture, the d pawn can fork my bishop and knight. Now, I just want to say, this was actually the freaky move that I came up with. Well, I didn't come up with it, but I recommended in the Dojo Aggressive Repertoire for white. Sam is in the chat. She knows that it goes like this. Knight e4, queen h5. Holy moly. Knight d6, bishop b3. And now, knight c6 looks natural, but it gets whacked by knight b5, and the life is not so easy for Mr. Bambisi. So knight c3 isn't of itself not a mistake. That, however, is definitely a mistake. And one of the reasons why opening theory at this point is not so important for you is they're going to do a6 or something. So as long as you develop, you are going to be crushing it here. Okay, good move. I don't know. Bishop d2. I guess I like knight e2 better. Because why? It's not clear that your bishop belongs on d2. Okay. Okay. Good. Poor. Why is it poor? Because it developed your queen. Okay, I can get behind that. Good. I can get behind that. Good. Knight d5, winning a pawn. Thank you very much. So now we have a beautiful position. We're up a pawn. Fine. I don't know. EF. Wasn't sure about this because I didn't like the idea of moving the rook pit. The rook, but I didn't have better ideas. I think you're doing fine. Ooh, that wasn't it. This is a bad move according to the engine, but I thought it would do a good job of surprising the opponent and getting one of my rooks out at the same time. Well, but wait a second. You're hanging the pawn. We can't be hanging the pawn. Right? So you got a number of good moves here. You're up a pawn. This rook is misplaced. This knight owes you 1,000 tempi. Right? So either knight e3 or castles. Now, I don't know. That's a very powerful rook. And now look at that. He's good move. Kicking the knight. Now you can't go to this natural square. This bad boy's coming here. Good move. I don't know about... Yeah, rook e2 is fine. Actually, knight e4 is fine. I'm not sure I understand bishop e6. I'm not sure. I definitely don't like that because you're opening up the rook on a7. So think about it this way. b4 doesn't really do anything for black. It's an impulsive move. And, you know, we need to get rid of this rook. We're going to trade it off or something. And instead, you're going to mobilize this rook to give him a tempo. h4. Weird. But get this rook out of here. He's too strong. He's got to go. Okay. g5. Knight d4. Now we're in trouble. Rook takes c2 looks good. Still scary for us. Okay, he's not doing great. Not doing great. All right. King c3. By the way, Afiko, this would be a moment to really do some annotation. Here you didn't. And I want to stress, like, this is actually a very complicated position. Very hard to judge. I don't know. Very hard to judge this position. This isn't it because it doesn't do anything. b3, that doesn't do anything. So the analysis would go rook e1, here, here. And I just want to stress, you have good chances to win this thing because your king is so much closer to these pawns, to the scene of the crime, scene of the action, than their king. But b3 does nothing. That doesn't do anything. You got to play rook e1. Oh no, now we're in trouble. It's gone bad. I don't understand this. Oh, man. Whew. Well, there it is. As we've said before, it's hanging the pieces that's going to decide stuff. So, Afiko, I want to say something about this. Your opponent, he wasn't thinking. Look at that. He's just hanging his pieces. He got loads of time left. The guy used only 10 minutes. So what's great about this is, even though there's all kinds of flaws that you had in your game, just the fact that you were able to use your time and your opponent couldn't was, to my mind, the real decider. Of course, we don't want to hang stuff, but I'm just saying, when you use that time more than your opponent, you're going to hang less than your opponent. Okay, well done. And let's go back. Next up, we have Darkovian. Darkovian says, some things clicked recently. I do puzzles for 30 minutes as a brain warm-up before I start my sessions, and in that warm-up, I force myself to not touch a piece until I've capitalized on the advantage in the puzzle, and boy, my ability to visualize and calculate has skyrocketed. However, it's come with the downside that I often overcomplicate winning positions and second-guess myself when I do. My goals for the next cohort are simple. Trust myself and take advantages when they present themselves and not get greedy. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. So, from the Midlands, big video game enjoyer. Look at that heat map. Oh, this guy's killing. This guy's doing it. Hobby coder, great. All right. So, beautiful work, and look at this dude. He's already up to where he could graduate again. His chess com's a little lower and stuff. His tactics rating's commensurate for kind of where he's at. Well, he did killed on one of the checkmate tests, and actually, he mentioned doing the tactics, and I think for the checkmate tests, the kind of work that he was doing, that's showing up pretty good. Okay, so here we go. Clubs. Looking good. Games. Here's Darkovian. 30 plus 30. It's a good time control for us at this level. And we got a time graph? We do. So both sides would have a reasonable time graph rating. We can see that black, in a weird way, now we're going to guess, I don't know if he really had theory all the way up into this point. I'm going to say no, this wasn't all theory or something. But you can see here that black was not thinking and then decided it was time to think. Maybe they got in trouble after a little bit. Your thinking looks pretty solid. Okay, in review. Here we go. Good. Okay, a little weird. Truly, I'm out of the book. Okay. Yeah, you're doing fine. I'm not going to complain. Weird because they're not developing. Castle's a good move. Good. Okay. And you took, and you do something actually quite amazing. This move should have at least won me a pawn. I think you should be very proud of just considering this move. I don't know if it's winning. We'll talk about that more in a second. But what I like about it on principle is that the guy is completely underdeveloped and you are looking for a way to open the position before he can castle. So whether it's right or wrong, it's the right feeling for what we want to be doing in this position. And here we want to talk about bishop d5. And I was thinking black should just play bishop e6. And you say, I think this is the best response, although it still loses something. And this is just an interesting position, honestly. I would say if black can castle, the bishops might prove amazing. So if I was black, I'd be like, maybe I'm going to live through this. Very interesting and hard position to judge. Okay. So, queen f3, that doesn't look right. Bishop e6. And you say already refutes my attack. Even dc, I think they could probably play. E1, tricky. Now he could still take that thing on, he could take on c4. Knight e7, check. Okay, and now he needs to play bishop d7, and it gets a little frisky. Correct. And now, bang! Beautiful. When you don't develop black, this is what you get. Rook e7. After a lot of calculation, this is the move I decided to go with. It is a sacrifice, but I have so much forcing pressure. My opponent is forced to take, otherwise queen f7 is played. Now, I'll just say the obvious. You talk about a4, that would be fine. Also, just bishop d3. He has no juice on e1. There's no juice. Okay, so rook e7. I don't know about this. f6, boom. King f7. Rook e1. Clever. Clever. And now queen e1 and fg5. Let's look at your variation here. Boom. Check. Queen d6. Ooh, this is a nice variation. Look at that. Oh, that's a nice variation. Very nice variation. Dang. Well done. That's nice. Okay. Sushan, I am sorry that I didn't see your question. I sometimes look mostly at the Twitch, but I'll come back around and look at the YouTube. I don't know exactly how I calculate. Okay. I want to know is why I lose the vision of the board after calculating 6-7 in my head, and how can I improve? Well, first of all, dude, I don't know where you were at, but analyzing 6 or 7 lines in your head is a lot. You know? Absolutely. So first of all, you should not be so hard on yourself. And I don't know where you're at. Maybe tell me where you're at, and then I can maybe help you a little bit more. But if you're doing 6 or 7 lines, that's already a big deal. Now, this is an amazing position. I think bishop d7 would be the interesting question here. This happens, though. Oh, my gosh. I think rook d8 looks better. c4, good move. I like it. Oh, yeah. Now, ooh, this is going to hurt. Oh, this is going to hurt. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Now we're winning. Thank you very much. Ooh, look at that, baby. Polgar mates. Polgar mates. Thank you very much. So great game. Great game with good annotations. Okay. Well done. That was Darkovian. Graduated a number of times. That was some skill at the end he showed too. Absolutely. All right, Wicked Pawn here. Coming up. I believe playing the classical Friday night fights and later annotating and reviewing with my chess coach is the best part of this program. As far as improvements, I think going over fundamental chess endings should be stressed at a much earlier phase. Thanks everyone for your comments and encouragement. All right, let's take a look. Alex Yermolinsky pictured there. That was the guy who liked some end games. If some GM didn't know how to do what he would consider a fundamental endgame, he'd scoff. He'd scoff at them and say, "You're not a GM. You're just some chump. No, what do you think you are doing here?" I'll put this bad boy thing back in the chat here. Sushan says he's 2,000. Okay. So first of all, I don't know if you're doing that bad, Sushan, if you're calculating 6 to 7 lines in your head. I think the easy thing to do is if you're in the dojo and do the calculation work, you could recognize that, like, first of all, you're never going to be perfect, but you can improve. all of the stuff we have going on in the dojo is great. Great. Yeah. I blundered this weekend. Man, it's really unfortunate. I'm still mad. I'm seething, Sushan. I'm seething. I am seething about it. All right, here we got Wicked Pawn. Old dude living near Austin. Austin is, by the way, where Jack lives, where his nose lives, so a big hub for the dojo. He's got 876. I think he graduated and then fell a little bit. That's okay. Clubs. Austin Dojo, 19 members. There we go. Okay, looking good. Let's do some games. So here we go. He is the bishop. And this is a time graph that we're looking at. 45 plus 30. Notice the time controls get a little longer as we progress. And we'll see how it looks, but that's a good looking time graph just on the face of it. Okay. Good. Good. A little weird. Knight f3 is more normal. Fine. And knight b4 is a good example of just like a superficial wish thing. You play bishop e2. Knight c3 also looks good. Knight f3. That one I like less because you could just let him take it. He's spending time, right? So if you just play knight f3, let him take castles, your rook will be open, you're doing fine. Now knight takes d4 is a thing. Now we're in trouble. Now that was a bad move. Thank you very much, baby. Good. Good. Rook fc1. I would have preferred maybe rook e1. Okay. I don't know what we're doing, but you're up a piece. Oh, I like this knight b2, knight d3 thing. This is hot. Oh, very nice. Good positional play. Okay, a little weird. Knight d4 maybe we'll call more natural. That's bad. Good move. Are you just killing this guy? Just killing this guy. Okay, so, bishop. You're doing great. And let's just say a couple obvious things. You're developing. And I just want you to see bishop b2 isn't horrendous, mostly because the knight on b4 is misplaced. There's knight on b4 isn't doing that much. But here, just let him take. You are winning time. You want to win time. So for example, even here, if you just want to take it easy and you let him take your bishop, fine, you've won tempo, right? You've won a bunch of time. And that's how you get in trouble. When you lose time, it's usually how, things go bad. I don't want you playing bishop c1. No. No. We need to develop our coconuts. For example, bishop c1, check to the pawn. We defend, back. And now it's, knight f3, knight c6 is a little hard to defend this coconut. Hi, Leviathan. Okay, so under 1,000 cohort. Hear me roar. We don't want to hang stuff, number one. We want to use our time on our clock, number two. We want to develop our coconuts. Those are the three basics for making it past 1,000. All right, boom. Next up, we got Napoleon. Long time coming. I was at 1235 in October and took some bad beats when I joined the 45 and 60-30 league. Went all the way to below 1100. Jesse, the game that you'll be reviewing is my 4th or 5th win out of 35 in the Open Classical tournaments, and this explains the slogan below my name. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so here's Napoleon. Open Classical 1900 plus. Whooping boy. Look at all this non-dojo game stuff he's doing. He's got lost in May. Oh, I got to talk about the non-dojo. Right, sorry. Non-dojo kill. All right, so clubs, loads of clubs. Core dojo, that means he's been around for a long time in the dojo. Dojo 1.0, very nice. Okay. Games now, hopefully, oh yeah, he just has one. Oh, and Chess Caviar. Chess Caviar is a big dojo we're here, so we have ourselves a very nice battle for us here coming up. Okay, so let's see the clocks, time graph, and Napoleon here looks guilty of moving too fast. Both sides actually moving pretty fast. At the end of the game, even white has a full half an hour left. So just note, they are playing a time control that's longer than normally what at this level they would do, which is fine. That's great, encouraged, right? But they're not able to use their time here, as we can see. Okay, so let's go game review. Good. Now 94. Okay, a little weird, but okay. 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 Well, a little weird, but okay. Good. Good. Fine. Oh, you're doing great. CD5. You're doing fine. Okay. Good move. Maybe we could have done that before because bishop b5 would have been kind of annoying. Wouldn't have been the end of the world, though. Okay, here I want to stress that when you come to the end game, when you think about development, we should be dreaming about king d7. When you castle, you're kind of undeveloping the king. G4 is a little weird. I don't know if I get it. Let's play b5. Poor. You're losing a pawn. Where the suffering begins. Material goes to white with the extra pawn. Time goes to white. Yeah. Also notice you still have to develop your king. Now, this I would say, it's not lost. You lost a pawn. Okay. I like the way white's building their position here, by the way. I don't like that move. Now you have a little bit of counterplay. I don't know what rook f3 does. b3 is frisky. b3 is a frisky move. Now we're in trouble. So here, I think it's fair to say we want to play rook c8, put pressure on this pawn, and tell our opponent, hey, I have enough counterplay for the pawn. Now he comes after your pawn. It looks like he's going to win it too. Do you have e5 here? I think you do. You want to at least consider it. Got this nice pin here. If players are moving faster, they might have been seeing this kind of thing. I mean, moving slower, excuse me. I don't understand rook e4. Why not take the pawn? I don't know. Okay. d5 looks very strong. Snip, snap. And notice those white's pawns are going to be moving on you. I don't understand king g3. He should be playing c5. Okay. Good. Good. Little weird. Why not the other one? That was a dirty trick. Rook g1. That was a good one. This is white lost time when this all went down. Okay. Check. Checkmate. Now, Chess Caviar, I know you're listening out there somewhere. I just want to stress. Look at this, buddy. Look at this. Well, first of all, Napoleon, you were the one playing for cheap tricks at the end. You weren't thinking. You got lucky. So time is very important. And what I want you to see is that time is also, this is a lesson for everybody really. Time is important for the end game as well. And there's loads of positions here, moves where both sides were just losing time. And you can see how important it is. Look at this. White has got an engine pushing their pawns. Black's got an engine that's slower, but if they get enough time, something like this is going to happen. And it did. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he's got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. He locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relax.
Hi, Alex. No, the show is not done. We got a long ways to go, actually. So, next up, world number 1. That's a great name, dude. World number 1. My goal for this stage was to improve my playing in longer games. In particular, the Dojo Open Classical was very helpful for this, as well for getting some post-mortems in. I still feel like one of my bigger weaknesses is my time management. I tend to get low on time on most of my games. I know Sensei Kraai advocates for using your time, but I would love to know if Jesse has any thoughts on how to improve with time management for players who tend to get into time trouble. So one cool thing that we're developing is this clock time rating, client time usage rating, and it's going to give you a rating, and then there's going to be an icon of either a rabbit or a turtle, depending on whether your game suggests you are moving too fast or too slow. So that would just be giving you a good indication of just how bad it is, right? Or maybe how good. Hopefully that's going to come out soon. So world number 1, crushing it. 10-16, look at that beautiful heat map, doing a lot of tactics. And yeah, got a great tactics rating. And great. And we got games rather, and hopefully what we're going to see here is this potential time trouble thing that he's got going. Here we got a time graph. And this is a 30 plus 30. And, well, it looks like White indeed used a little too much time at the beginning And then maybe they're winning already at this stage, but both sides stop thinking entirely over here. So we'll see what that's about. We'll just try to remember move 25. We'll see if something has happened. Okay, so here we go. At this stage, I really want to stress it's probably, we're going to call it a good problem to have, what you have going on here. Okay, fine. Fine. Wow. This is fancy theory. They go for it. Looks like a fail to me. Boom, boom. Welcome to the dojo. Right? Welcome to the dojo. One of the things you did very well here was you thought on this move DC4 and you were like, let's get him. And then you have to analyze it. And yeah, it looks like you're killing this guy. Okay. I would definitely say, in general, you want to play Queen D5 because now we want to trade some coconuts off, right? Check the miserable king. Good. Fine. Good. Fine. You're doing great. Knight D4 helping you trade off some stuff. Fine. Good. Perfect chess so far. And you're taking your time. Oh, you're doing great. Oh, you should feel good about this. Yeah, this is just perfect chess. B5, little frisky. A3. Queen D6. I don't know about that one. So yeah, you blunder a pawn, but your opponent doesn't notice it. So what do we want to do? Just play Queen C1. And then fix your king. And then it's a task, right, that every chess player has of winning the one game. And it probably will take a little technique. Okay, so Queen D6, they should definitely take on C3. Okay, reasonable. Poor move. Poor move. What are you doing, buddy? You trading it off? F4. In hindsight, I think this was unnecessary. Yeah, you got to play Bishop F3. I think you're probably winning no matter what, though. Good move. Bishop B7. Why aren't we taking this? Why aren't we coming here? Oh, no, Bishop C6 bows. Now, remember what we said about move 25. I said, okay, now they're not thinking too much. Here he does Bishop B7 in 9 seconds. If he had thought a little longer, bam, game over. Game over. All the coconuts are going to fall. They are all going to fall. So, Bishop B7. Good. Good. Good move from your opponent. Ooh. Okay. I think this is where I called game. Okay. I agree with you. You're winning this. Okay. Let me just say, taking on G5 is bad form. You should play G3 or just let him take because he's not going anywhere when he takes, right? So it's a little bit bad form, but you are absolutely winning this thing. Good move. Good move. Good move. Okay. Well done. That was great. So, in terms of feedback, what I want to stress is yes, you're thinking a little bit too long to get to move 25, but it paid off, right? You found a great simple tactic, Bishop F6, D5. Beautiful. When we get to the end game, you, like many other dojoers, think it's a simple thing. It is not simple. It's not simple. There you need to take your time. So when we go back and look at that time graph, both sides thought it was simple pimple, and no. No, 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 no. It should not be going up like that. All right. So let's go back. Well done. World number one. Rednick. Oh, this guy's always graduating. Oh, he's always graduating. Am I really going to get through all this today? Jeez, Melise cry. I don't know. Here's Rednick. And Rednick here is doing some graduations. ECF. Beautiful. Now, see, his name, I think his name is Nick, and he's got red hair. Coming to the United States, you hear redneck, and, that's a different thing. Maybe he's playing on that. I don't know. So he's doing some pretty good work. A little sporadic, but doing it, yeah. We got the English, the London. Great. Activity, looking good. Games. And so, here Nick Spearing is playing No Aji, who I believe is in the dojo. So let's pick that one. ChessDojo Open. Great. All right, let's take a look at the time. And Nick, we got ourselves a problem, buddy. Here we can say that you are not thinking, bud. So, notice, let me just say as a generalization, the lower rated players, the lower rated you are, the bigger a problem you're going to have with going too fast. As a generalization, the higher rated players are going to have a problem with going too slow, if they have one in terms of the clock. It doesn't mean, though, that just because you're over 1,000 that you won't have the problem, as our friend here, Red Nick, is demonstrating. All right, so here we go. So far so good. Fine. Fine. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Beautiful play. Queen A5. This felt like a mistake from black. The knight is adequately defended, and it left his queen in an awkward position. F3. F3 is a very fancy move, by the way. Computer says this was an inaccuracy. Well, I don't know why. I would say it's very thematic for what you are trying to do. And pretty GM level, really, with F3. This is an idea I feel Kasparov invented in the 80s. Maybe you had seen something like this in your opening prep. You are dominating the knight. You introduce ideas of E4. You give the bishop a square to come back to. You're doing great. And now let's see if you do the Kasparov move. Yeah, good move. Now, you probably maybe did it, or maybe you did it, I'll just say maybe you did it, because if knight d4, you lose a pawn with bishop c3. But the pawn is really nice on d4 because it's dominating this knight. So this pawn is dominating that one. This one dominating the one on d7. Okay. Good move, I think. Okay, bishop g3. And you say, hope he didn't notice the trap on the queen and that he tried to trade off bishops, which would have lost the queen to b4. But why aren't we just playing b4 straight away, bro? What you doing? What you doing? Just win that thing. Just win that thing. All right. Bishop g3. I guess it's super fancy in that way that you're saying he can't do anything about it anyway. Boom. All right, winning position. All right. So, queen a4. He should probably take that thing. That looks very strong. That's not it. Thank you very much. And now I yelled at you for using too little time, but you're slaying this dude. So I can't yell at you. I could, but I'm not going to. Right? You are up 1,000 coconuts. It's time for him to resign. Good. Okay, good game. So, some very fancy moves, and it seems like you had seen something like a setup like this, right? And the F3 move would have been part of your setup, like you'd seen it somewhere. And so this really paid off. That's right. Okay. Well done. Very nice game. Very nice game, Nick. And that computer, for example, telling you, oh, F3 no good. I don't care about the computer. That's like a thematic move. All right, here we go, Brandon. I would say a very deep move, too. I remember staring at that in 1989 with Kasparov doing. I was like, what? F3? Isn't he weakening the king, bro? What's going on? No, F3 is some deep sows. CD-ED. Deep sows. Don Mahogany's like, no, I'm not going to do it. That's too fancy for me. That's too fancy for me. Here's Brandon crushing it. Join the dojo. He's been working hard. He's doing well. All right. So, clubs. Oh, loads of clubs. St. Louis. Well, he's got Costi over there in St. Louis. Well, he'll need a bigger club than 15 over there. So, games. Here we go. All right. So, I'm trying to get somebody with, now let's just do the most recent one here. So, this is Brandon MT. Do we got times? We do. Let's take a look. Bam. Can we shame any of these players? Well, maybe shame Brandon a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. It looks like at the end, maybe somebody's up a piece, but they both kind of stop thinking at the end, we can say. All right, good. Game review. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good. So far, no problemitos. Fine. 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 Classic position. Good move. Good move. Good move. A little weird. So, we talk about d4. What you should understand about the isolated queen pawn is you do not want to trade pieces, right? You just don't. Now, with d4, maybe it's playable, but A, e4 is not a dumb move. And B, on e d4, knight d4, I think we blew it because bishop h7 followed by queen d4 loses a coconut, right? So what we could say is you have a variety of good moves here just to keep the tension in the position. Knight e4 looks good. Rook e8 looks good. Bishop d6, we don't want to trade pieces. And we definitely don't want to trade off our dark square bishop. Good move by white. Now you're helping him trade. Knight c3, I think knight e5 makes a lot of sense. But you trade it off for him anyway. Now he's close to win. He's got a clear advantage. Simple chess. And the bummer about, this is really important. The bummer about the isolated queen pawn is precisely this kind of position where you don't have any dynamic compensation for the pawn. And he can just calmly play moves like doubling the rook and then you lose the pawn. Right? Simple chess. e4. Okay. So, this doesn't look right to me, e4. What White should understand is this pin isn't going anywhere, right? So maybe even like rook d2 and queen d1 and then e4. You can do e4 whenever you want, but e4 now, I think you can just play de4. Yeah, just play de4. Thank you very much for playing. White blew it. Queen b6. You did think 7 minutes, so we want to give you props for that, even if it was a mistake that you thought. e5. Interesting. ed looks also very strong. Oh, man, that's brutal. Yeah, we're toast. All right, queen e4, something looks good. Knight f4. Doesn't that lose it? Oh, maybe knight f4 is clever. Okay. Very clever. Very nice play by white. Okay, and now the rest of the game is not really annotated. You say study up on creating, defending, and getting rid of isolated pawns. So one of the things to say here is just what is the dynamic, right? When you have an isolated pawn, it's just important to understand, isolated queen pawn, you have more central control than your opponent, right? That means you are able to maybe control some of his pieces with that extra center control. And then the horror position of a isolated queen pawn is precisely this. Now your opponent blows it here though and plays e4, right? So that is a calculation issue. And I think maybe it could have been about, just the terror of the queen, losing the queen. Because, for example, in this position, for example, we'll give up a queen. And we should just say to ourselves, we're doing fine here with Mr. Rooks. It might feel, for a lot of people, it feels weird when you play without the queen, but it is very holdable for black. Okay, so well done. Boom. And I want to say at 1100, 1200, or 1200, 1300, that is a part of a stage of a person's chess development where something like the Ice of the Queen pawn, yeah, you probably don't have a handle on that. And your opponents don't either, right? But like generally, yeah, you'll slowly get a handle on it. Hopefully what I said is a little helpful. You check the YouTube chat, sometimes they yell at me. Hello, Asta Mahogi. All right, here we go. So, that was Brandon, and now we have Thing 3. Still haven't had much time for the dojo and chess. I think I will learn an opening soon and enjoy watching Friday night fights. I should play Let's Blitz. All right, let's take a look over here. So, 1280, we'll give him a follow. Maybe he hasn't done much. Got an amazing tactics rating just based on that. The Aphantasia Club. Dude, let's just get our video posted here. I'm going to post this video. We did it a while back, but I don't know, we've had trouble producing our videos. I'm going to post that here. Bang. It's the Aphantasia video we did. I thought that was we've done a lot of interesting podcasts, but that was definitely an interesting one. Not just about Aphantasia, I felt. It ended up kind of being a lot about what is chess visualization. So we have our own Aphantasia Club here. Very remarkable for me to try to visualize something and then, take this test. And I'm not great with visualization. I was very, average to below average. Whereas Kostya could see the horse. I don't know how he could see the horse. My girlfriend said she saw the horse too. And I was like, you saw the horse? What? All right, do we got games? No rows. Thing 3, I'm mildly thankful because we have a bigger show today. We had a lot of games to look at. But for yourself, you got to put some work in Thing 3. Come on. Next up, we have Min. So I picked this cohort thinking it meant OTB rating, which means I take my ChessCom rating and minus 300. I didn't mean to smurf. The book recommendations were tremendous. Working through the 0 to 1000 books helped me so much as a 1600. I teach chess to international school kids, and the games to memorize has helped me in my game in particular and in teaching in general. The sparring games are also very fun to play many times per positions too. Thank you for this platform. Well, thank you for being here, man. Totally cool. Vietnam. I gotta go to Vietnam someday, but I gotta go. So, 1441. Dude is smurfing. Are you smurfing us, man? Are you smurfing us, dude? Okay, clubs. Now, Min, I have a request. Create a Vietnam club. Vietnam has a great chess tradition, and maybe you're the first. Maybe, but then maybe some others will join you. So, games. And here we go. He's got a lot of games going on here. This is looking great. So, we're going to go, first let's look at the time graph. And we will say it's a shortish game. Now your time usage is fine. It's maybe a little bit fast, right? Because you only used a half an hour for the first 20-some moves. Okay. So, we also want to say that when we look at your game analysis, that we could wish for a little bit more annotations here at the beginning. Okay. So, for example, this is a big choice. Why in general should we play ED? Because it develops our bishop. We got one problem piece. We should say thank you for taking on d4. Okay. Okay, okay. You're developing. Good. Knight b1, a little weird. Yeah, so this needed some more annotation. Okay, here we go. f3, and now it's going to get real hot and spicy with queen h4. And you played g3 here. Now, I want to stress here that the prudent move is probably to play knight f1 or f4. So you're going to go for it, and your opponent's going for it too here with queen h4. So g3. And what black should be thinking about here is to say, hey, yes, I can take on g3, but am I going to be able to bring in reinforcements? Intuitively, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, it's not possible. So, good move. I think you're winning. I think you're winning. Queen g2. King f2, I would say, looks crushing. Now, this, though, is poor because queen e3. Okay? So, let's look at something here, man. I want to just say something obvious. You spent 2 seconds on queen g2. Right? 2 seconds. Now, let me just see here if I can do this for you. There's a little icon. I don't think I can do the icon. There's a little icon for too fast. And when we get this clock time rating up, I think it would be cool because it's like, oh, we can see what your clock rating is, and then we can tell you if you're moving too fast or too slow. Moves like this, queen g2, it's really sad because it destroys your chess. Because you have a great position here. You should be winning this game. This chump had no business taking on g3. That's right, Casper. They were all in once they played queen h4. Okay. And yeah, you did spend a good 8 minutes on whether you should play g3, which I think was a good move, right? But then a lot of times, actually, I will say with players, myself, once you commit yourself to a long thing and you really expended all that energy, after that, it's possible to then play an impulsive move because you're kind of exhausted, right? So that's what that feels like to me, what happened there. Okay, well done. Next up, we have Jörg. And Jörg says, after some hesitation, I finally decided to graduate, although the only real classical rating is still highly provisional. But all the other numbers say I'm ready, and I feel the same, so here we go. I think the dojo is great, and it keeps getting better. The fundamental principles are sound. Training plans are great. I also love the heat map and the community. I doubt there's anything on the internet that comes even close to what the dojo provides. There we go. I do have difficulties to find dojo training partners for sparring and games, but that is mostly on me, since my schedule doesn't allow for regular times in a week and slots are almost always on short notice. Regarding the game to look at, I guess the best one is Haram 055. The most recent ones are short and have weird endings. Okay, Jörg, here we go. Aus Hamburg. Nice. And we're going to give him a follow. He's been here since 23, but I see the heat map. He's kind of worked sporadically here, and recently he's done a lot of tactics. So, do we have a Hamburg club? I could get a Hamburg club. That could be my request. Kosi was just in Hamburg, actually. He got to hang out with some of the chess-based people. They invited him over there, not realizing that we're building the alternative to ChessBase. Once they figure that out, they're not going to invite us back. Okay, so there we go with that. There we go with that. All right, so let's go look over here, and I think I'm going to remember this. He said, Let me go back. Actually, he was saying Haram. Do I see Haram though? Where is Haram? Yerk, I'm not seeing Haram. Oh, there he is. Boom. So, Josephine Heinemann is his coach. Well, that's cool. Okay, this is great. So, first of all, Jesse, let's see. Do we have time? We do. Let's go look. And Yerk definitely did way better than his opponent with usage of time. We're going to see if move 40, if he kind of flagged. Not flagged. Flagged. Don't use that word. That means something else. But if he ended up becoming tired at move 40, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Mark this, and here we go. Fine. Fine. Everything beautiful so far. Bishop E2 is a little weird. Fine. Beautiful. Beautiful chess. Poor, well, it's nothing impressive because they just move a developed piece twice. Okay. Now you do have to make a call. I like queen c7. We'll see what you did. Okay. Good move. Poor. They did not do anything to you. Yeah, playing for tricks. Okay. Knight d5. Reasonable. Okay. There's nothing too special here. You got a lot of different moves. Let's see what you did. Snip. Snop. And now knight f6. So let's just pause for a second. You took 15 minutes on this decision. Now, I want to say that there are a number of ways you could address this. And you talk here about bishop g3. Let's see, c5 is what Josephine wants. c5, I want to say, makes me nervous because this gives white the opportunity to go snip, snop, and then bring the lady to just kind of look at you down here. You know, that's nervous for me. The simplest move, the safest boomer GM move I got would be bishop f4, and if snip and then snop, and we're fine. We're definitely not worse. Okay, so bishop d3, and now we're probably in some trouble with knight h5. And you play g6 now, and is it really that bad? It might be that bad. We might be crispy critters here. So, g6. Well, we're done. Well, we're done. Okay. Knight f6. All right. Now I am winning back the piece, he says. Right. Okay, so maybe a little frisky here from white. Boom. Good. Good. Now, let's just say your opponent isn't thinking, really, right? Great. You did great. Okay, so we are down one coconut in this ending. And here you again tank, and let's read what you write. I thought a long time on this move. I am down a pawn, but my king is more active, although white can always push him back if I try to get up the board. Plans are not easy to come by. One idea is to double on the h-file, but white can block it. I don't want to open the position too soon, and I want to prevent d5 by white. I also want to play c5 after doubling on the d-file. I didn't expect to win this game, but I saw chances to hold it. Now, let's just say when these chumps, they don't think, oh yeah, we got chances. I will definitely say from my just intuition that I want to play c5 here. I want to try to get my rooks active pronto. Poor. What should they do? Something like h4 or g3. Fix the king, buddy. Okay. Weird. They should play rook e5. Good move. Weird. c5. Very good move. Very good, simple and strong. We are now going to get some counterplay. Good. All right, and now e5. Very nice move. And now we have some juice. Great. So this is great. You are doing the right thing. Your opponent isn't thinking, and now maybe you're better. A little weird. They're not fixing the king. Boom. Okay. Good. Poor move, rook e2. They should take and then bring the king around to d3. Okay, now we need a good move. Fine. Interesting. I don't know. I think rook a5 should be analyzed. A little frisky over there. They're just making a bunch of checks. All right, so now you're up a clean pawn. Good. Now, you're doing great. Notice your king continues to be better. Good move. Simple chess. And now at rook h7 should be crushing. Boom. Check. Oh, that's fine. Fine. I wanted to go check the miserable king, but we're going to do it now. And now I like king e3. Let's see if you did it. Very nice, simple and strong. Thank you very much. Checkmate. But he's already lost here. It's already gone. So, you're great. What I love about that is maybe your opponent was a genius, but they didn't have the ability to think. Let's go back to over here. They didn't have the ability to think. They got to this ending here, and they just weren't able to think, right? And I want to stress here that when you are at move 40, you should be using more time. You have this interesting rook endgame where you were up a pawn, and both you guys are basically moving instantly. I will say that this ending, if I was annotating the game, also or playing it, I would be really looking at it closely, because when you're up just one pawn, I'll show the position again. When you're just up one pawn like this, it's pretty tight a lot of the times whether we're actually going to win it. And the strategic aim for white is going to be to try to put his king on d3. So analyzing from here, the question is, well, can I somehow get the king there? There's a variety of tries for white to do it, right? Yeah, so for example, let's say king f2, king f4, king e2, king e4, and now for sure rook h3. Actually, you did some good analysis here. And now one of the things I just want to stress is, if you had known that this was hard, you wouldn't have been playing this series of moves so fast, right? No, nor would your opponent. In general, once white gets the king to the blockade square, it's very difficult to win. Okay, well done. I have to get myself a touch of water. I'll be back in a second. Boom, 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 boom.
Welcome.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Chuan. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all the counts.
All right, my friends, we are back. Alex, thank you for being here. Thing10 says, hello, I need help with a puzzle. Nope, we're doing other things right now, and right now we're looking at Mindset by Dave. Mindset says, I've not logged much recently, but I have been putting in the work, just forgetting to record it. I think this is the period where I have learned to finally slow down. Beautiful. My classical and rapid games have been taking much longer. In classical, I'm still ahead on time most of the time, but by nowhere near as much. On rapid, I've even lost on time a couple of times. This was unheard of before my previous graduation. Beautiful. And in terms of a mindset thing, yeah, that's what chess is about. It's about thinking. As you saw with Jurg, he outplayed his opponent even though he blundered that pawn earlier on. So, beautiful. Started back up a little late. 1407 looks great. ECF 1401, commensurate with his other rating. Tactics rating, I don't know what's going on there. Clubs. UK, of course. All right. Games. Loads of games. This is going to be an OTB, I think. Let's give it a click. So, one of the hardest positional games I've ever played, he says. Do we have a time graph? No. A lot of times, of course, well, not a lot of times, when you do an OTB game, you have to enter the clock times manually, of course. So a lot of times we don't get it on the OTB games, but I definitely want to say it is worth it. Not only for you to have it later, but just it will slow you down for one thing. Just a second to be like, okay, I thought a little bit on this move, and I'm going to write down how much I thought. All right, here we go. Boom, boom. Fine. Okay. Okay, great. Good. Beautiful play. Knight c6. All right. So this is actually, I think, to my mind, just a very interesting kind of position that comes up in a variety of Londons. And the idea is for us to just lightly grip the dark squares. And maybe get an attack on the king. By gripping the dark squares, we keep this bishop garbage. Okay, so knight e5 was played. And what I don't like is its follow-up. I don't like bishop b5. I like knight e2 a lot. This would be, let's say, kind of the kind of thing we would want to do. c3 is also a nice move here. We're just holding on to the dark squares. We're just gripping those dark squares a little bit. And we're saying, hey, bishop on c8. Yeah, you're just a chump. Black isn't lost or anything, but I like white's position. So knight e5. And then that's really bad because you are fixing the bishop. You're giving him an extra pawn in the center. And your knight on e5, which was cool, is gone now. Okay. Queen f3. c5. Good move. Now we're in some trouble. Bishop b7 makes sense. Now, this one, we should just say it would be a lot simpler for black to play rook b8 to protect the bishop. You'll owe him a tempo at some point anyway. Okay. Good move by black. Don't trade. Good move. d4 looks very strong there. I guess it's still strong. Oh, he's just nailing you here, isn't he? Queen c7. I don't like that. That's fine. You can play d4. Black's playing a great game. Boom, boom. Queen c6 maybe, knight at d4. Okay, it's probably also very strong. g6, d4. Very nice play by black. Very nice play, dude. Very nice play. Now, one of the things we want to say is, of course you could have improved it, but from a strategical perspective, this all goes back to knight takes c6, where you gave black an extra center pawn and the release of their bad bishop. So one of the nice things about going up the cohort ladder is we begin to see games which are decided not by somebody hanging a coconut, but by games which are strategically won for whatever reason. And this one is the pawns and the freeing of the bad bishop. And yeah, white is completely toast here. Now you just hang a pawn. But I don't know I don't have any good news. Any good news here for white. You know, this kind of garbage is happening very quickly. Okay, so there that is. That's Mindset by Dave. We got a couple left. If experience is any guide, some of the higher rated players don't annotate their games because they're too proud. Leviathan says, back after a terrible OTB and a much needed break. Okay, looking forward to the grind and having fun. Leviathan has graduated a number of times. Adult Improver, late 20s from India. Very nice. We want to see more Indian players. 1655 is looking pretty good over there. Also, I don't know anything about the Indian rating system. I assume there has to be one. I don't know anything about it. Pretty sure we don't have a conversion for it. So that would be an interesting thing to have up there too. In fact, let me just put, we have a list of things to do. So many things, but I'm going to write down Indian rating conversion on our long-term list. Right now, we're so committed to doing the 4.0 stuff, but we will eventually get to the smaller details like that. We don't have a national rating, he said. Okay, meaning I guess you're just using the I'll scratch it from the list. They're using the FIDE. Amazing too, with the huge boom there happening in India, that you don't have your own rating system. Okay, do we have an Indian club? Now, first of all, lifting heavy things. I like this. Leviathan, I want to just make a plea for you to create either an Indian club or whatever town you are in club. One of those, whichever one you feel, both would be cool, but that would be a cool thing for you to do for the dojo, also for yourself, because maybe you'll find some people you can meet in IRL, as they say. Okay, so games, and we got a number of stuff going on. Indians are so strong right now. Now, maybe I've already looked at this because this is a while back, but let's take a click. Haven't looked at this yet. We'll take a look at the time graph. And here is Leviathan. Played a pretty good game in terms of the time. And we'll see what happened on move 28 or so, because that's where both players really stopped thinking. So we'll just keep in mind on that. This is Dojo Round Robin. If you don't know about this Dojo Round Robin, it is great, man, because you are going to get players from your own level. They're not usually going to be cheaters. We don't have a foolproof method, but just the culture of the dojo makes it less likely that you're going to face a cheater. And of course, they might do some post-mortem with you afterwards. Good move so far. Good. Bishop E3. Interesting. Good. Now black has the problem that their rook is a little funky. Okay. D4. I don't like it. More natural is bishop C2. Why don't I like it? Really, because the knight on A5, when you play bishop C2, it's out of the game anyway. It's going to have to figure its life out anyway. You do have a nice position here, though. I don't like D5. I know it's a natural move, but you think about it, the black kind of owes you a tempo anyway to figure out the E5 pawn. So if you just go back, I like your position a little bit better, But D5, he should play bishop C8, by the way. D7. Now, here you look at A4. I think C4 also makes a lot of sense, mostly just to put your knight on a square where it controls 8 squares instead of one where it controls 6. Little funky. C6, good. And by the way, this is a very common way for black to solve their problems when you play D5, right? In a Ruy Lopez type structure. D takes, I agree with you, it's not great. Good move. Okay. Rook D7. And now A4. Now, by the way, yes, maybe black has done fine out of the open, but you're still doing okay. The game's not over. That's a weird move. Snip. And now it's not just you lost the pawn, but like later this is going to come under attack now. Now they can take on e4 if they want. Oh, but you had, I guess you had a dirty trick. We'll show him the dirty trick. Look at this dirty trick he's got. Knight e5. Boom, that was a dirty trick. Queen a3. Queen b8. I don't know. Yeah, probably fine. You can play rook b8 too. He could play rook b8. I don't understand knight g5. Reasonable. Okay, interesting play from both sides. And he says, likely a time pressure in accuracy. Good move. Well, okay, rook takes b2 is coming. Good move. And then, was this a blunder? Boom. This is complicated now. Let's say boom, 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 boom. This one's hard to judge, right? This one's hard to judge. Rook d1 is maybe safer than rook c1. And now what we want to say is, let me go back looking at that thing. So remember what we said, around move 20 something, both sides stopped thinking. And so what I want to stress is here, if we look at this time graph, is what it looks like, and you can tell me if you feel like this is true or not, but it looks like both players got exhausted. Because this was some of this starts with the where players stopped thinking here. And you guys had there's some crazy tactics going on here. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And then your annotations too, it's gotten a little light. So what it feels like is both players are like, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm just gonna make impulsive moves. Right? That's what it feels like to me. Okay, so back to the game review page. We had all this going down. Good move. And now queen c4, very nice. And now you're winning. Okay, well done. Leviathan is crushing it. He's gonna create either an Indian club, or I don't know where he's in India, but really cool for us to have some Indian players here. Jay Curiel says, I really enjoyed working out tactics on the board, analyzing my games. Recently purchased the book on how to analyze games to improve this aspect of my training. I think I need to improve my middle game and end-game skills. We worked hard on this book, How to Analyze Your Games. It features a lot of things, but mostly great annotations all across the dojo. It's a huge book. Go get that book. Kraai, you need to fix the scene. Here's Jay Curiel. Ophthalmologist living in Mexico, wanting to improve his chess. Looks great. Got an amazing FIDE jump there, 1526. Got a nice level of green. Okay, this all looks pretty good. Let's see clubs. Right, we got a cool Mexican club going. I think it should be, maybe you guys could rename it as the Mexican Club, because I've seen this club and I know it's based in Mexico. And then it would just be cooler, because you know better than me. Latin America is a bigger thing than just Mexico. Yeah, Don Mahogi, don't let Kostya know when I don't change the scene right away, dude. You get on me. Dude will get on me. Okay, so games. Let's see, first of all, if we got a time graph here. Nope, that's okay. I think this was a OTB game. And let's see what we got. So far, so good. Okay. And you're right. I think this was not a good move because it leaves the d6 pawn weak and creates a hole. On the other hand, I don't think it could be that bad. Good. Knight g4. So this is a frisky move, and obviously you're concerned about the pawn on d6. things are going to get a little weird now because you're losing time. Let me just suggest to you that this is a good fighting move, because if they go and take the pawn, you really do have good compensation, because you got two bishops and you got some touch going on over here. All right, knight g4, snip snap. Rook d2. Rook d8. Simple chess by your opponent. I don't know about this, though. I don't know about this. That seems too early. Good move. And now, I think your position is actually defensible, because the knight on f3 isn't really working too well for white. Good move. I don't know what h3 does. Passive. You don't need to do it yet. You don't need to do it. All right. g4, I don't know. Queen e6, a good move. I like that. Uh-oh, did I miss that? I might have missed that one. Now, hold on. Knight g5 was a good move, and I missed it. So what that means is queen e6 was actually a mistake. Probably we need to do something else. So this is a moment to think about what else we could do. Fun, for example, is b5. If takes, we take this pawn. We got some stuff going on. We got some stuff. Yeah. So queen e6, mistake. On principle, it's the right idea, but knight g5 turns out to be very strong, and I think we're toast. I think. Now, maybe there's a way we can still try to work. No, I think maybe there's a way we could do this. So you played rook e8, and then rook d6 is going to happen, and I think it's all the way gone. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, by the way. So rook e8 happens, and if rook e8, maybe rook e8 does work, actually, but knight e4 is the other interesting alternative. So, but we're going to give rook e8 a chance. Rook d6 looks natural. If knight c5, we'll attack the knight, and then we'll win the pawn. And when we win the pawn, we'll be attacking this coconut, or defending that coconut. This looks bad for black, but this is the intense position we're getting. And rook d8 seems forced, and then we get this amazing position. So it is hot. And you write, at this point, I already felt superior. From having no space and suffering because of the weakness on d6, all of these exchanges allowed me to have a passed pawn and a more active knight. Now, I want to stress, these positions are, to my mind, the most complicated ever. Very complicated. Okay, so here we go. Knight b7, knight h3. Here would be great to know what, how long people were thinking. And you write, perhaps white's best move here was to push c4 in their passed pawn. I think that would be a great move to analyze, by the way. So let's look at c4 just for a second. One big question is, if I can get the pawn to c6 before your king gets in, then there's real trouble. So for example, king, pawn, king, pawn. And notice this cool little wall that has been formed. This looks terrifying. Terrifying. So anyways, I just want to stress, how do you get good at endgames? By analyzing it, by looking at these kinds of situations, okay? Because it's not over yet. Your knight can now do things. And then the question is, well, is white going to be able to come up with some tricky way of messing with you? Good question. I don't know yet. I don't know. It will be hot. It will be very hot. Sample variation. b4, snip, b5. Is it hot? You bet it's hot. You know, we're going to keep running it here. Knight endgames, some of the most complicated things imaginable. on the chessboard. Okay, a4, it's just not it. What are you doing, buddy? King f8, I don't know. Knight f2, you said was better. I agree. Knight d8, I don't get it. Knight f2, good move. Good move. Now, hold on. Hold on. You're either winning or you're losing. You say you're winning. I think you're winning. Oh, that's a nice move there. Bang! Yep, that's going to win. So, whew, good game. Good game. And putting the times in would help. And I think a little bit more calculation would help. These Sicilian positions, by the way, let's just start here. When you play a variation like this, it's important to understand that you are epically behind in development. Doesn't mean you're lost or anything, but that's just part of playing the Sicilian. So e5 gains you a very important tempo, even if it seems like, oh, the d6 pawn, the d5 square, yada, yada, right? I think it was totally defensible, and knight g4 was probably the grief. Okay, so well done. And now we have extirpo. We'll hit El Gran Show here. Here's extirpo. Gonna give him a follow. Look at this. Look at this heat map. He's doing a bunch of non-dojo tactics is what he's doing. And writes, first full season in club completed. Overall happy, although I had a couple of painful humps in the spring tournament. Will you focus do well against the OGs in the club? Best feature of the program, the heat map, keeps you at work. Well, your heat map is amazing. 68 years, retired March 24. After a free month of the dojo, I bought full membership. Goal, upping my chess for the local club. Living in Scandinavia. Beautiful. Okay. I got to go play some chess in Scandinavia, too. I played a tournament ages ago in Denmark, but that was it. That was in the last millennium. All right, look at that. Normalized 1706. Beautiful. Clubs. Norwegian. Danish. Well, which one are you, buddy? Come on. You're one of those. Maybe you're more than one. I don't know. So this is looking great. We're going to look at this activity. Doing a lot of non-dojo stuff. What is this tactics? Well, it's weird because this is a, maybe it's, I don't know. Wait a second. Let me see if I understand this. I see. Well, then we'll look at the non-dojo. What is the non-dojo tactics? Oh, it's not telling me. That's weird. Anyways, he's done 359 hours of non-dojo tactics. Okay. So, interesting. Putting in the work. Dude is putting in the work. A lot of tactics. Let's hope he's got some games. Definitely. And as you can see, when we start going up the dojo ladder, we're going to see longer time controls. We're going to see IRL games. Boom. This is maybe one of the OGs from the club. Opponent 77 years old. Clearly non-scholastic player. I bet he was a non-scholastic player. This is the Dramen Schachclub Spring Tournament. It'd be cool. Maybe we get a Dramen club. Actually, let me just stress. If you have a chess club, I want to see that scoreboard. And if you can recruit some of your people from that club to be in the dojo, we'll give you a discount for sure. We want to see clubs, especially those European clubs, which are so cool, having their own scoreboard. We got Dale's Karma asks, so do the graphs in the dojo come from where you play like Elite Chess, or does the dojo? No, it definitely comes. You enter your preferred rating. Extirpo's here is a FIDE rating, and so we just pull that from the FIDE site. So, here we go. We are going to look at time graph. We got a time graph, so congratulations on that. That's definitely helpful. We're going to say, yeah, you arguably moved a little too fast here. So, go game review. Fine. Weird. A3. Played after some minutes. Don't sack on B5. What do I want you to do? I just want you to play knight f3 and ignore. That's what I want you to do. Okay, good. 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 Weird. So, e4, great. And not only does it make sense, it just follows this general principle where your opponent is not developing, so we are now perhaps opening the board. G5, mistake in general. Can't be doing that. G3, bishop e7, rook e1, very nice move. Knight h5, ed5, simple chess. I think he's toast. Knight g3, de6. Crispy critters. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're winning. Yeah. Bishop d6, knight e4 looks fine. I like knight e5 too. Good. Oh, some nice chess. That's some good chess right there. Rook e6, I don't know. Oh, that's a nice move. Yeah, I mean, it's a wreck. It's a wreck because bishop g6 is coming. So here I'm not going to yell at you for not using your time because here you're just completely winning. And one of the things that we'll say is that although this might be what seems like an egregious example of somebody not developing, it's certainly true that the level you're at, they're not going to give you free stuff, but they are going to give you free time, right? And that's definitely what happened in this game. Dale's Karma, yeah, I can. How do I allow it, dude? Try it again, Dale's Karma, and wait, click to show. Well, I don't see your actual profile. I just see profile. So maybe try it again, Dale, with your actual profile in the link. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting you. Because I'm just getting chessdojo.club.profile. And then it just goes to my profile. Oh, I know what you're doing, buddy. You are sending your own profile. Makes sense. Send me a link to one of your games, and then I can find it. Okay, Dale's Karma. All right, here we go. So, next up we have ChessPaw. Let's go. Not grad show. You can figure it out, Kraai. ChessPaw. Here we go. Want to win bad. Bastoon is here. Very nice. ChessPaw's at 1701. Brilliant. We got a USCF that's down in the dumps. But our ChessCom is doing great. ChessPaw, no clubs, one game. So this is going to be Joshua Chapman. ChessPaw, say us something about yourself. Tell us something about yourself here. This is the Marshall Chess Club, famous club. I think they're going to move. It's very controversial. No time graph here, but we're going to go game review. Mark this as reviewed, and we'll take a look here. Good chess so far, but White's playing a little weird. Okay, fine. Weird. So your opponent, this was last time, they are giving you guys free time. Good move. Fine. Weird. Knight f6 is a little weird. I would have preferred rook c8. Notice now your queen's a little funky, and e6 isn't gaining you time, and now you're getting tricky. Right? Getting tricky. Rook f1 isn't it. Now, what should they do? They should think for a second here. They should think for a second. Rook f1, and now you do come up with a very nice move. It would be cool to know, rook f1 passive, by the way, it would be cool to know how long both sides were thinking here. This is brilliant. Look at this. Boom. White didn't see this at all. Got to recapture somehow. Can't recapture with the knight because you're going to get mated. And then we say, hello, my little friend. I am cooking you now. He does that. He's going to lose either way. Boom. We toast. Very nice tactic. Very nice tactic, Ben. Yeah. There we go. Welcome to the dojo, Jörg Himmler says. Absolutely. Welcome to the dojo. That was a great shot. Now, let me just say, when we get to a higher level, as Ben is here, this is the kind of great move that we can start. We can start looking for it at any level, of course. But this is the kind of thing where if you're like, where he's at, like 1700, this is where your game is really going to be lifted if you can find a move like knight d2. Benjamin Buck, thank you for rating. I hope you had a great show. We're almost done here, too. This is the Dojo Training Program. We're going through people who have graduated from one cohort to the next. That means 100-point gain from one to something higher, as Ben here has done. We were just looking at his brilliant tactic here, knight d2, opening up the business. All right, well done. We have just one more here, and that's Exajam. Let me fix the screen. We'll open this up. Exajam also needs to tell us something about themselves. Sometimes, as I said, the higher rated players don't tell us anything because they're too proud. Like No Games too. Well, that's typical. But we did have a great show today. Lots of games. And now, to close this out, I get to do my own business here. We're going to go boom. And I'm going to go weekly training program. And I did a couple things this morning that I just need to enter. Here you can see my little heat map, the things I've been doing. And I got to find my Turbo Tactics. This is a book that we're actually going to put into a higher cohort because it is so hard. This is a little bit annoying, but I know how to find this. I'm going to go. Right now we have it on a lower cohort, but it is so hard. It's got to be put into this one. There it is, Turbo Tactics. Boom is a new book by the people who did Perfect Your Chess. I did up to 102 today, and I only got like 50 minutes done. That sounds right. So I did 50 minutes of that bad boy. Go back to this weekly thing, and we gotta go openings. I did a little bit of opening work today, and so we'll put this as sparring. And I did about an hour and 20 minutes of sparring. I'm going to update that. Boom. And I have to do the openings from yesterday. Oh, not the model games. Spar versus d4. Update progress. And this is going to be yesterday. Doom, doom. And I did about 50 minutes here. So update, and there we go. You can see my opening bucket is still lower than my other things, but I'm working on it, bows. I'm getting there. All right, thank you, Falgred. Thank you for everybody being here. Thank you for Benjamin Bach rating us. We are going to rate somebody else. Dale, I'm sorry I didn't get to your game. We will look, anytime you graduate, we'll take a look at a game. I'll try to look at other times as well. Oh, we don't have our usual customers. Let's rate somebody I have no idea. And that is Chess Struggles. Let's go. You'd like more info on the dojo? Well, you're in the dojo already, Dale. Here we go. Rate Chess Struggles. Boom. By the way, this is Yermo Linsky in the business here. He is an amazing chess player. It didn't rate, right? Rate chess. It's like Chess Struggles. I don't know. The rate has been created. He is an amazing feature of American chess life. And he is in a little bit of trouble. He just had a quadruple bypass. Not an easy thing. I am going to share once again this GoFundMe. if you have a little extra cash, this dude needs it. This dude needs it, right? So let me put it in here. Bang. All right, everybody. I will see you soon. Bye.